whenever they apply to jobs, the shortlisting happens on the basis of either college names or previous company work or some other factor. Why is that shortlisting even required? Why that kind of hiring biases are created for college names and all that? That's a need because in India, when you get 100 resumes for a single position, you can't interview 100 people. You can only interview 10 people or 5 people. So that's the first bias, which I will call differentiation bias, which is a factor of the demand supply gap itself. Since the supply in India is so high, 2 million people graduating every year, and for each position there are thousands of candidates. That is why for a company to make a decision on hiring, they have to cut down the 100 people who applied to a number of say 5 or 10 or 15, and which can only be done by such heuristics, which are what you call biases in terms of college names. So that's the first one, which I would call differentiation bias. The reason I call differentiation bias is you can also get selected if you are a Google developer expert, or if you are somebody who spoke at a conference. So if I spoke at a very good, like say EU React conference, if I spoke there, right? And if somebody knows that, they would be like, hey, this guy must know some shit, right? To actually get his presentation selected there, right? So basically, every candidate wants to differentiate himself or herself to move from the 100 to the top 5 or 10 who are considered for the job for the interview. So that's first differentiation bias. Second reason for the differentiation bias comes from the inherent nature of what is the constituents of the of what these people, the company who is hiring, right? What is the consensus about who is a good candidate? So if you look at Flipkart and a lot of companies of 2010 to 2017 who had in product management, most people were from IIMs, right? And their referrals got people processed from IIMs. And this all of this created a kind of an echo chamber which says that, hey, you know what, if you are not from an IIM, you don't deserve to be in product management in Flipkart. I mean, today you will see a lot of people who are not from IIMs, but you should have looked at 2015, 2017. Like literally everybody was from IIMs. In fact, I had a situation where they could not offer me a certain role because I didn't have an MBA. And they were like, this position we generally take from IIM ABC for these many years of experience. If you have less years of experience but a higher brand name, and this literally the recruiter told me when I was coming to India. She was like, you are not from IIM ABC, so for your 2-3 years of experience, we can't offer you this designation. It was as straight as that. And that happens. It is what it is. And this is coming from an organizational bias of who is good. Okay, so that was the second bias. And then we talked about the 3 biases, subconscious biases of an interview experience. The first bias is simply people who ask for a 2-minute pause before solving a problem. They seem to be more thoughtful. They appear to be more thoughtful because they are taking a pause to think through. The second bias was people who spoke at lower words per minute, elongating their words in a way such that they appear to be more composed and articulate. That's the second bias of this part. What is the third bias of this part?
It was clarifying.
Yeah, clarifying questions. Ask clarifying questions as a sanity check. Right. And I think there was another bias we talked about, which is basically be in the mu plus minus sigma zone. I would rather say 25th to 75th percentile bias. Basically, anybody who expresses their intent to join a company or the experience to be between 25th to 75th percentile. He's not very excited or he's not uninterested. He's just reasonably interested, reasonably excited. Not too excited, and not too uninterested. So these kind of people don't show a desperation, and they also don't show uh, arrogance, basically, right? So these are kind of, you perceive these people to be slightly balanced, um, and hence the bias. This we extrapolated to also how we treat ourselves. So if we take a goal and we are like, oh, I'm starting on this startup, I'm starting on this thing, and if this succeeds, it will change my life or revolutionize my, the whole education uh, ecosystem in India, or blah blah blah, whatever. Anybody who's using very extreme adjectives there, they're doing themselves a uh, disservice. I mean, at least for some of us, it works that way. So there's also the opposite principle for that. So the opposite principle for that is called the big, hairy, audacious goal. So that is what is used by people. So people say that we will take a big, hairy, audacious goal, and that will inspire all of us to do our best. So that's another way people do it. But I have found that that big, hairy, audacious goal is very nice to hear about, but it is very depressing also. People are better off doing things which are more believable generally. So yeah, that's like the sixth bias which extrapolated to the seventh one. Yeah, is that a good summary? Did I miss something? Did I miss something?
Asking questions like usually.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, usually at the end of the interviews, usually they have the time or space and ask people to ask questions. At that time, sometimes I've seen like when I take interviews, people don't even ask questions. So that's a big no. There is a bias, right? If you ask questions, you're interested, you're reasonably interested. So yeah, that's a bias people have. So even
Totally agree there. Like if you can ask good questions, it's a good one. Sometimes when I am overwhelmed, I fear asking a stupid question and messing up the uh, impression I have created. So sometimes when I'm not sure of myself, and sometimes I'm just tired, I'm like, if I articulate it in the wrong manner, this person right now thinks is confused whether I'm stupid or not. Let me not clear his doubts. So I totally agree. If you can ask a good question, nice. If you can't if you think that you are going to ask a bad question, maybe just pass. They'll still be confused about how good you are, and that's still okay. Than being sure that no, this is a reject. Have you seen that also, Nambiraj? Like bad questions and they are getting rejected from you.
no, that hasn't happened. At least usually people have some general questions, right? And those are okay to ask. Like, what is the kind of company culture you have? What are the projects that's upcoming? Yeah, those are the things that you can generally ask, even if you can't think of any unique or new questions.
Cool. Interesting. Yeah. So yeah, ask generic questions, keep them ready. I think that's a good one. Cool. It's been an hour. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Yeah, if somebody can summarize this, that will be useful. And if you have specific queries, people just DM me. Just send me a DM, okay?
Kamal, you should do a dating workshop next. You've been giving a lot of energy of dating.
No, not my area of expertise, man. I didn't date a lot during my years. Yeah. No, but I'm seriously. I got married at I got hitched at 24. I was engaged at 24, at the age of 24. So you can understand. So,
Never too late.
10 years. Sorry?
Never too late to test the waters.
No, dude, so I didn't have a lot of dating window, and it was those times. Like, people now date via Twitter. I'm like amazed. Like, I can, literally at our time, dating was a big no-no. So I come from a conservative community, and I'm Marwari Jain. So dating was a fucking no. So whatever little I dated, that was heavily criticized by my family and the girl's family.
Yeah, well, that's like 80%, 90% of India's experience. So you're not alone
No,
there.
no. Nowadays, no, man. No.
Yeah, not nowadays, but like 90s kids.
90s kids, sir. Totally,
Yeah.
totally. Cool. Everyone, thank you so much.
Bye everyone. Bye everyone.